Imagine having a city and like someone comes to you and goes, Genghis Khan is coming to our city. What do we do? And you're like, hold on. We got to think about this clearly and not go overboard. And you go, okay, well, he's got advanced spies coming in and stealing our weapons. And you go, well, can we prove it? And they're like, the guy's running away right now. Well, we don't know what he's running for. We got to make sure we treat these people fairly and equally. And then you just, an hour later, he runs in and massacres you.
You know, the civilian mind is different than the military mind. I'm not in a military mindset right now. I'm in a civilian mindset.
Okay, and I have a question. A guy breaks into your house. He breaks into your house, and he's screaming, oh, I'm here to kill Ian Crossland. Are you going to be like, well, you know, he's allowed to have guns. I better not use the law against him.
No, I would use the law on my own.
Why in that circumstance, but not in the macro? Why in the micro, not in the macro?
This guy broke... What do you mean exactly? It's a weird question. What do you mean?
No, so... My point is that when it affects you personally, you have no problem saying I'll use the law against you.
If someone breaks into someone's house in a state where you can shoot them, then you have to defend your territory and your life.
You have to defend.
You
them.
have a duty to.
Okay. What if foreigners who want to murder your whole people break into your country with weapons threatening to kill you? Do you have to defend them?
You have a duty as the military to defend the country. Yes.
Okay, so that's happening right now.
But we're talking about a dude standing outside it.
Who's he defending?
Practicing his
Who's he defending?
What's the purpose of his gun?
No, he's not defending himself.
You don't have to claim a defendant to issue your Second Amendment right.
This is the point,
Ian. What is he doing? He's defending the immigrant community. That's what he's doing.
I mean, he's just standing. I don't know what he was doing. I saw a picture of him standing there with a rifle pointed at the ground.
Ian? Why is that guy outside?
To show ICE that there's an armed people waiting.
And what is ICE doing?
Throwing people out of the country?
Arresting people who should not be here, criminals, rapists, illegal immigrants in general, and that guy's attempting to intimidate them.
Well,
so now let's try again. Someone breaks into your house and screams.
Me walking around with my rifle out is not intimidating.
You just said that was his intention.
I don't know. His intention was to show ICE that there's a militia. That's not an intimidation. Sure. ICE should know that there's a militia.
I think that's intimidation.
Not a militia.
Well, let's try this in. A guy breaks into your house screaming, I'm here to kill Ian Crossland. And then another guy shows up and says, look, I'm not here to kill Ian. I just have a gun pointed at him. Should you use the law against him too?
You defend. If someone's pointing a gun at you, you have a right to defend yourself. They're essentially...
My point is, when we've had conversations like this so often where when the issue comes to you personally, you have no problem being like, well, of course, that's why you would do it. And when the issue comes to the betterment of the country and the laws and our Constitution, you're just like, nah, let the bad guys do whatever they want.
As I'm sitting here listening to you guys, I just hear Democrats having this exact same conversation about people like you, is what I hear. And so don't become the enemy you're trying to destroy. Don't become the demon.
Let them destroy you.
No.
Yeah.
Why would you ever let someone destroy you?
That's literally what you're talking about.
You're talking about arresting a guy.
Earlier, you just said that we weren't in an existential conflict.
I did not utter those words,
You said, Phil, you're sitting here in a podcast.
Yeah.
Your
life is not under threat
my
right now.
point
Well, that's
was...
what existential means.
Ian, is my life under threat right now?
I can't, doesn't look like it.
You would be incorrect. Why am I in this building right now?
All of our lives are constantly under threat. It's the world. You know, doesn't Russia have nukes pointed at our country right now?
Ian, why are we in Florida?
Setting up. I know you're setting up a new shop. You know, looking for.
Why are we trying to look for something new?
Upgrading security because we're running an entertainment company. We need security.
You want to be closer to
what happened that made us do that, Ian?
Obsessive people come and say,
Ian,
"Hey, we want in."
A thing happened. Say it.
The people shot a gun outside the studio.
People shot 3 rounds at our studio. They're trying to kill us.
But
Me
that doesn't
in
mean
particular.
you go around stripping people of their rights.
Their right to what?
To carry a weapon outside.
That said, that was fine.
Well,
I said,
what he's
if the intention is to intimidate our duly appointed law enforcement, we say no. We don't tolerate people who are trying to destroy us.
Yeah, but we don't know that guy's intention, bro.
I said, if he breaks the law, throw the book at him. And then you're like, no, judges have deference, blah, blah, blah. I didn't say just throw him in jail for no reason. I said, if he breaks the law, throw the book at him.
Right, and that is the same argument they used on January 6th to put people away for 20 years.
Now you're just moving the
goalpost. We have to give up because the other side is mean.
I would never say
Ian,
give
you
up.
are literally just
my response to your, but they think the same thing is, duh. The Hatfields and the McCoys, do you think one side was justified and the other wasn't? They're just feuding. That's reality. Who's right in any grand conflict? Let's talk about like Korea versus Japan. Who was morally justified?
Oh, I don't know.
Exactly. There's a dispute between people. Sometimes it's aggressors. Sometimes it's ideological. Sometimes it's resource driven. But all that matters is right now in this country, there are two political moral philosophies. Both say the other is the bad guy. And you know what? We are correct. And they say the exact same thing. But I know that we're correct because we fact-checked these things, and they don't. Now, some of them may, but they lie all the time. They lie about everything. I'll give them some credit on the one screen, two movies with Renee Good. But you take a look at J6, you take a look at Don Lemon and what's going on with Don Lemon. On January 6th, you had rioters. I have no problem telling the world the rioters should go to prison. You beat a cop, you go to jail. And they did. I think 3 years was fair. I think it's actually a little bit long. So a commutation and a pardon for their 20-year sentences does make sense. Do the liberals say anything like that? No. They say the innocent people who showed up after the riot, walking onto public land they had no idea was closed to public and the doors were open, should go to prison because they're evil insurrectionists. They say that Owen Schroyer, who never went in the building, should go to prison. They say that Brandon Strzok, who never went in the building, should go to prison because they don't care, they don't fact check, and they want to destroy us.
Auron, you just said people that went into that church should all go to prison for 10 years. Like,
Yeah, when one side decides, are you familiar with game theory?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Tell me more about it.
So prisoner's dilemma, right? You have to have two people cooperating, or as soon as someone defects, you have to defect in order to keep the equilibrium. The only way you ever keep equilibrium inside a system is to make sure that you have a reciprocal strategy. If you have one side say, okay, we're sending people to prison for 30 years who weren't even in J6, who weren't even in the area, and then when they do something similar and you don't push back, you don't give them a reciprocal pushback, they will just continue that strategy of defecting infinitely because there's no incentive for them to stop. What you're suggesting is they get to defect infinitely and we always have to cooperate. How does that game end?
Well, I don't think that either is justified.
Sure,
It's not
but how
about
does the game
justified.
end?
I'm
How does the
talking
game
about
end?
strategy.
The game ends with de-escalation.
No.
no.
Okay,
that's
then I
not
guess
what-
the
that's
way I
not what
said
game-
it isn't the right answer.
Ian,
How does the game end? Auron? You tell me.
Let's try again. Here's the question. If they are putting J6ers in prison for 20 years, even people who didn't go in the building, and we don't put them in prison when they violate the Klan Act or the FACE Act, what is the next what's the logical conclusion to that kind of system?
Well, there would be multiple possible conclusions to that. One is the other side says, okay, then we're done. We're not going to do this anymore. Another side
You're
would be
being
they're
intentionally
like, they're
obtuse.
weak. Now let's stomp them into paste. It could.
Agreed. And that's what they've been doing for the past 10 years. Why would they stop now? Honest question. Why would they stop now? They haven't stopped. They've escalated.
Who? Firstly, that's a silly question. Who's they? Who? Genuine question.
Left moral worldview. Disparate factions aligned with a multicultural democratic society, whereas we are the constitutional Republican faction.
Most people don't want civil war. They don't want.
What does that have to do with what we're talking
They
about?
don't. You said why would they stop now? They don't want. They don't
The
want
people who are roving around in Minneapolis beating pedestrians, pulling cars over, they're pulling cars over. They're stalking white people because they look like they might be ICE and harassing them. There's videos of them ripping a guy, telling a guy screaming, take it off because he wore an American flag hoodie. And then you have the storming of a church in violation of the law. They're not stopping. They've been escalating. And this is, you still have the George Floyd Square in Minneapolis years later. They caused billions of dollars in damage. They firebombed the White House grounds, set fire to St. John's Church, and they mocked Trump when he did disperse the crowd. They called him Bunker Boy because he was brought into an emergency bunker. Right now, what we have been witnessing is the right has done nothing but beg the system. We voted in November because we are moral and just people who say we don't riot, we don't burn things down, we don't shoot people, we vote. And then we did, and Trump's been somewhat ineffective domestically in this regard. If we continue to allow Democrats to beat, murder, and terrorize, and we do nothing, there is only one logical conclusion at this point. We will be crushed into paste.
So if the left is beating, murdering, and terrorizing, are you suggesting the right should also do that?
The right should use the law against these people and put them in prison. Like I said we do. We vote. We beg the system to deal with it. We don't go out, we don't riot, we don't shoot people. You suggested these people should not go to prison for storming the church.
I didn't say that. I just said 10 years. I say now 10 years is
Well, that's the penalty, isn't it? That's the
excessive.
maximum.
I'm trying to remember the exact part of the act. but I think
Conspiracy against rights.
Yeah, well, that's what they're charging. They're saying they're charging under the KKK Act because they said the FACE Act is a little bit difficult because of the ingress and egress. Did you actually block? So it's easier to just go after conspiracy of rights. Though I think they'll also catch FACE Act violations.
Yeah, I don't think 10 years is good, but I do think prison in general, and that means at least a year. It is the federal statute, 10 years. Yeah, it was 10 years. Yeah. The maximum penalty for Klan Act is 10 years. With aggravating factors, it can be life. Life in prison. And so now you have the state laws where they've enacted these civil rights protections, re-enshrined them, which religion is one of them. I say live by the sword. We treat others as though as how they want to be treated. So if Democrats say we are going to protect against discrimination, we say, well, you stormed into a church, religion is a protected class, and you lock them up. Those are their rules.
I personally think that that's reasonable. I was putting myself in the heads of some of those churchgoers. Probably really thought they were about
the
to
thing
all
that
get
matters
killed.
ultimately in the end is that I think it is obvious to everybody watching the show that Democrats think they're right. And they're justified. The difference is the moral framework they use, which was the point of bringing this up. Do we believe in the Second Amendment? Is it universal? It's certainly not universal. The Second Amendment applies to good Americans who believe in the Constitution against those who would subvert it, like these people are. So we can frame it like this. The American people are all holding hands, singing songs under a rainbow. When the British return, my God, it's Revolutionary War 2.0. A bunch of British people land with U-boats crashing into the shores of California for some reason in the Pacific. There was a flanked attack. And they say, we're taking this land back for the crown. And they pull out guns. Are we going to be like, well, they have a right to keep and bear arms? Or are we going to be like, enemy invaders, put them down?
That's completely unrealistic. They'd be like, Saad, we are here.
Of course, we don't give our enemy, foreign invasion.
Zoran Mamdani's
rights.
campaign said that he was intentionally going to protect non-citizens from federal law enforcement that were duly appointed by the duly elected American government. That is insurrection. He announced it. He went on The View and said he wants to abolish ICE. This is an individual not from this country, later did gain citizenship, threatening the people who democratically elected a Congress, a president who then appointed and the Senate confirmed a Supreme Court. And these people are saying, your laws be damned. We'll do what we want. And one of these guys is walking around with a gun. And we go, drat, he's used our own rules against us. Well, I say that brace could be a federal offense. I'm not going to give you any leeway here. No benefit of the doubt. Look, now I'm not going to rag on the leftists who do believe in owning guns. But for the liberals who have tried to ban them like they're doing right now in Virginia, making it harder to buy guns, why would I give these people an inch? I'm going to be like, nah, you live the way you want, and you support the people that want to take guns away. So I say you get what you want.
When Eisenhower was sending the 101st down to the South to march people into schools by bayonet to break segregation, there weren't a bunch of Southerners sitting there with their guns, pointing them, laying them on their arm, staring at the 101st Airborne. That's not how it went down. And if they had, they would have learned a lesson real quick. It's not like there's some kind of lack of precedent here.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.